term that is, come to the fore very recently. It's called the 100 crore elitist club, or the 100 crore phenomena. Firstly, if you could be kind enough to decode this term for me on what it means and what is the business impact when it comes to, box office collections, to a producer, to a distributor, and how does it matter to the layman?
Well, I suppose to the layman it doesn't really matter, because for the layman it is whether he or she has liked the film or not. As far as the business fraternity is concerned, the 100 crore club essentially means a film that has done a net business of more than 100 crores. So when all the money that's collected from a theatrical business of a film, when you look at the total, that's called the gross collection. From that you remove what is the entertainment tax, and you're left with the net collections. The net collections is shared between the exhibitor, broadly speaking, between the exhibitor and the distributor and producer. So that's the net collection. So from the net collection, when you remove the theatre rent or the theatre hire, or the money that goes to the theatres, then you're left with the distributor share. So the 100 crore club, it typically means a film that has done a net business of more than 100 crores.
Right. So this is the recent phenomena of, films like Ek Tha Tiger, films like Dabang. I believe your film, which is Three Idiots, is now in the 200 crore club. So, does it mean that just because you have a 100 crore box office collection, you're a profitable movie? Obviously not, right?
No, certainly not, because the profit on a film will depend on how much you spent on it.
Right.
So, for me, it's never been the quantity of the business that you do, but a combination of what your cost of the film is and the quality of the success of the film.
Do you think it's impacting the way films will be made in the medium and long term? Because let's look at the films that have actually crossed this mark: Ek Tha Tiger, Ravan, Singham, and many others. You're a filmmaker. Would you say that we are actually progressing in terms of content and in terms of creative sensibilities?
I don't think that whether we are making progress in creative sensibilities is dependent on this 100 crore club phenomena.
Don't you think it's
No,
impacting?
it's not. No, it's not. I'll tell you why. Because all along, success has always played a major role in the lives of the people involved with the films. So whether it's the 100 crore club today, at some other point in time, the figure would have been different, because at that time films were doing a different kind of business. Today business has also changed. You have films releasing in 3,500 and 4,000 screens.
Sure.
Earlier we used to have 300 screens being released at one time. Sure. At one time it was even less than that. So what I'm trying to say is that at any given point of time, no matter which point of time you take, the bulk of the creative people in the film industry have always wanted bigger and bigger successes. And at times they have, felt that they would like to go to any extent to make sure that they get that big success. And it's always been that there have been some people who are creatively driven to such an extent that to them this figure of 100 crores, 10 crores, 20 crores is meaningless. So right through, in fact, if you ask me, in the 70s, you had only a particular kind of film being made in mainstream cinema. And then you had the parallel cinema. In the 80s, the parallel cinema, took quite a beating. And it became more and more just mainstream and a very singular kind of film being made. In the late 80s is when I feel the change started happening, when newer and younger filmmakers came into the film industry, and the kind of cinema began changing then. And since the late 80s to now, I think it has constantly progressed and changed, and more dimensions have been added. Different kinds of films are being made, and this time in mainstream. But there are a lot of young filmmakers who have come in as compared to the 70s and 80s. In the mainstream, I find a lot more variety of films being made. Khosla Ka Ghosla, this, a lot of films have done well. Yeah? And abhi Kahani Aayi Thi, which was a big success. Vicky Donor has done really well. Now, these are all unusual films for mainstream cinema, and they have done well in mainstream. So my point of view is that irrespective of the 100 Club or not, there are a lot of films being made which are different, which are unusual. Experiments are happening in mainstream cinema, and that is good to see. I'm aware that there will always be a certain section of the market which just wants to make the biggest and the most successful films no matter what. That's going to remain right through.
To watch more, subscribe to youtube.com/ETNowLite.